This video is called Facing My Reality for Good. And I was inspired to write this because my daughter took a picture of me and put it in ChatGPT and asked it to analyze my face and tell a creepily accurate depiction of what it could tell about me from my face. And gosh dang it, gosh darn it, dag nabbit, and all the other cantankerous ways of saying it. God daggone, that thing was accurate as heck. I could not believe it. I mean, when I say it was accurate, I can't even, uh, it's precise. It had surgical precision. It knew me from my face. And I had to take that to heart because one of the things that I've been doing lately has been evaluating my life. A lot of the things that have shaped me. I've mentioned this before in other videos, like passing through this channel of grief with my brother's passing. I've been like just looking at everything, like looking at my life, looking at decisions I made. It's just a natural thing, really. I mean, I don't even try to do it. It just crosses my mind like instantly. I'll just think about some experience that I had when we were children. And sometimes I feel like I'm actually in the experience again, but I'm seeing it from a different angle. It's very interesting, let's say. And one of the last conversations I had with my brother, I said to him, I said, man, I'm about to come out as weird or weirder than I normally come out as. And then he said, you're not weird, you're just you. And I appreciated him saying that since he's known me so long. But we talked about a couple other things. But one of the things that one of the words I've used to describe this experience is that it's been a sobering experience in the sense that I just look at stuff with even less influence of like emotion and stuff like that. It's like I'm looking at it just like, what is this thing? You know, what's the hard truth to face? And I've always been that way ever since I was a little kid. I've just been the kind of person where I just was like look at something like hard, but over the past like however many years, I've gotten a lot more diplomatic in how I express myself for a variety of reasons, most of which has to do with my family having to kind of navigate how I show up in the world. But with this experience, I just like, and so many things that are going on in the world right now, I just want to just be straight up. I mean, I always have been straight up. If you know me for any length of time, you know I'm straight up. But I used to be like maybe overly straight up. So I tried to be more intentional about how I express myself. But it's also been exhausting for me because the fastest route for me is to just say things as they are and just kind of get around the feelings part and the interpretation part and just say it. It's like, just tell me, rip the band-aid off. I'm like rip the band-aid off kind of guy. I actually am the kind of guy, crazy enough to say this. When I was younger and we didn't have dental insurance and my tooth was hurting, I pulled my own tooth out by the roots with a pliers and a nail. My brother was like, oh my God, are you crazy? But I was like, yo, I'm not going to sit here with this pain. I'm just going to face this sucker. And a lot of people don't know me 100% as I am. Like some people think they do because of how I present, but there's a lot more going on. And I can tell people what's going on, but a lot of times they don't believe me. For example, I told someone recently that I have an intimate relationship with anger, and I've expressed it plenty of times. But because I don't sound like I'm angry, people think that it's not there. But I've been able to kind of hone how I express those kinds of intense feelings because of necessity, like where I grew up, family responsibilities and other things. So when this chat GPT thing scanned my face, it literally named, I can't even think of a thing that it named that wasn't accurate about how I show up in the world. And when my wife was hearing it, she was just like, oh my God, oh my God. It did one on her first too, and it was pretty accurate on her too. But it was like, I was just like, wow. And everything it said, I openly will say to people, it's just whether they believe me or not. It even said that people think that they get me, but they really don't. Because even though I'll tell them, they still will be like, Nah, I believe something else. Hello, Sharon. So basically, the reason why I call this post facing my reality is one, it's a double entendre because doing that face scan and having that accurate depiction of how I show up in the world was one thing. It's like it's all over my face, like legitimately all over my face. The way that I show up, and I don't understand how this facial technology or science is called Chinese facial mapping or something. And however it works is said by my eyes, lines on my face, and it described me to a T. And I uh, highly value being able to read my own emotions and to understand what my motivations are. That's why I'm studying the Enneagram. Um, so to see this facial thing scan my face and tell me exactly how I am, I'm like, there's no hiding it. And so I'm actually going to post after this video is posted, I'm going to post the content from this facial scan at the bottom of the video. And I'm going to encourage other people to test it out too. Basically, all my daughter did was take a picture of me and then say to Chat GPT, give a creepily accurate depiction or description of this person based on their face. And it went all in on me. I mean, details about how I grew up, basically how I was kind of put in a position where I had to protect people and also like everything. And so in this season of my life, I'm over 50 now. I got called my own kid's granddad by this lady recently. I can't believe it. But at any rate, um, I've had these experiences. It's like I have to face reality. I've always tried to face reality, but I try to get other people to face reality with me. Now I don't have time to try to get other people to face reality with me. I have to live into the reality that I experience as clearly and as cleanly as possible. And if other people benefit from that, then that clarity or that choice to kind of have a sober way of looking at things from my perspective, then they'll enjoy being around me. And then if they want some other stuff, they won't enjoy being around me. But has to be clear lines of demarcation in this season in our society. Like too many people say things in like manipulative ways, or they try to be diplomatic and all these other things. And maybe there's a time and a place for that. It's not a time and a place for that for me right now. Like if you ask me what I think, I'm going to tell you. If it hurts your feelings, you shouldn't have asked. And I may warn you in advance to say, listen, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And just like I'm telling you I'm like this, and I used to tell people I was like this for years, and I say, listen, you don't know me. I'm trying to explain to you because I've spent a lot of my life protecting people from me, not the protection energy that I have, not which this facial recognition thing also said that I hold protective energy. I've spent a lot of time protecting people from me in terms of how if I get done with people, I'm just done. And then I'm very clear, but have a lot of room and a lot of spaciousness. I'll give people the benefit of every possible doubt I could come up with. And then when there's no more doubt, there's nothing I can do about it. There's just no more doubt. And I think that there has to be people like me too in the world because there's so many people who say, well, I can't tell this from that. I don't know who's telling the truth and I don't know who's lying. You should be able to tell because I personally feel like if you're honest with yourself, you can tell when somebody else is being honest with you. And if you're dishonest with yourself, then it's hard for you to tell when somebody else is being dishonest with you because you lie to yourself. So I don't lie to myself. So since I don't lie to myself, when somebody else is lying to me, it just vibrates at a different frequency to sound woo woo. And so I can just pick up on it. And then sometimes I'll be like, I'll know a person's lying, but I just won't feel like it's worth telling them I know they lie. So I just will let them lie. And then I'll just try to get away from them as soon as possible or whatever the case may be, which this freaking face thing said too. It's just so many things. And I think it's another reason why I'm sharing this is because I think it's important for us to realize that as holistic beings, like mind, body, and soul, like we're not getting away with as much as we might trick ourselves into thinking we're getting away with, even as a collective, as a community. Because even in all these things that we're seeing happen in our society, which is way too many lies, and a lot of us going along with those lies, at some point, there's somebody's gonna break. You know, you cannot control people forever. People got a lot of complex things going on, and some people are gonna break, and they're either gonna share things that you thought they were gonna keep in confidence, or they're just gonna like make mistakes and like leave records and files and all sorts of stuff, and things are gonna come out. So you might as well start practicing facing reality now, because in a while from now, a lot of us are going to be facing realities that we won't know what to do, and they'll feel very devastating. Because if you've never practiced facing reality, you're going to be, you got your head in the sand all your life. Then when the reality bites you in the ass, you're going to be like, oh my God. So it's time to pull your head out of the sand for some people and just start facing things as it is. Exactly. Sharing the truth will rise, and the truth is already here. So it's like, might as well embrace it. With myself, one of the things that I have struggled with is like, hmm, like I I've given examples of this before. So like the main example that comes to my mind is like Hallmark, like, and I've said it before on the video, but if you haven't seen it, maybe it's worth repeating it. But when I was a little kid, I never got a chance to believe in Santa Claus. Don't sound like a big deal, right? But Santa Claus is like one of those first little delusions and lies that your family tells you. And I never believed that. But I knew that other kids believed it, and I knew other kids were taught it. And my mom, even after she told me it was no such a thing, when I was 2, because my parents broke up on Christmas, she told me, don't tell my younger siblings when I got older. So then I was like, I had to sit there and watch people believe in some bullshit stuff and knowing it wasn't true from a little kid age. And like so many things in my life kind of mirrored that. There's like things that I see people believing that I know aren't true, but there's like these systems around it. And then if I try to tell the people it's not true, they don't want to hear it from me. They were like, they just don't want to. So they'll just get upset with me or whatever the case may be. And then later when they find out, then they're embarrassed because I already told them before. And so after so many years of witnessing that, and I had the same thing with my relationships with my partners. I remember one time my ex-wife, one of her friends said, "Oh, girl, can I borrow $400?" I don't know why I imitated her like that, but that is how she said it. She asked if she could borrow $400. And my wife was like, "What do you think I should do?" I said, "Well, if you don't mind never seeing that $400 again, then go ahead and don't loan it to her. Just give it to her, because she's not going to pay you back. And if you loan it to her, you're going to expect her to pay it back. And then when she doesn't, you're going to feel some kind of way. And when you see her like buying new things and all this other stuff, but you're gonna know she owes you $400. You're gonna feel feelings, but then you're gonna be having it buried inside. And then eventually it's gonna snap. You're gonna snap, and there's gonna be problems. So you might as well just say, "Hey, girl, let me give you this $400 and enjoy it," or don't give it to her, because if you give it to her thinking you're gonna get it back, there's gonna be problems. So she was like, you don't know, or whatever. Then she gave the girl the money. The girl never gave her the money back, and we proceeded to have the experience. And then when she tried to talk to me about it, I was like, I'd rather not have this conversation. And she was like, why? And I said, because I already told you this was gonna happen. So why now do I have to listen to you go through this? And it's like as if I didn't know this was going to happen, when we both know I knew. So let's just let it go, forgive the girl, and tell the girl, like, hey, I forgive you, and move on. Because if she hangs out with us, you're going to feel feelings. She's still like, nah, we got to go through the motions. So I got to sit there and act like she doesn't feel anything when we're around this girl, when I know she does. It's like a lie. And then the girl's showing her, like, we're handing, a girl's like, oh, girl, look at my new bag. Look at this. And my wife was sitting there like, oh, wow. Knowing good and well, she wanted to slap this chick. And then she wanted me to just sit there. And I said, man, I can't take this. And I ended up saying something. And then everybody was mad at me. So I started trying to reduce putting myself in those kinds of situations, or navigating them better. But now I'm just like, listen, it's very clear what I think. If you don't want to hear it, you don't have to. But this is what I think. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it or do any of those things to make people feel better. I'm just going to be honest. And if you can't handle honesty, I don't blame you, but don't expect me to co-sign it. That's where I'm coming from. Because one of the things that I know about myself is that if I don't express myself honestly, it hurts physically. Like I physically feel pain in my body when I don't say what I really think. So the best way I can manage that is to stay away from people that I feel like I can't tell the truth to. And so that's how I manage it. And that's how I'm going to increasingly manage it because I have to take care of myself. So many people have this capacity to be in denial. Good on you. I don't have it. So that's how I'm navigating. And I encourage you, if you're watching this video and you feel a lot of us are holding crap in our bodies because we're trying to make other people feel uncomfortable. I mean, comfortable. So we're uncomfortable. But I think it's time for let the people feel uncomfortable. Just tell them, get it off your chest, move forward. Like my ex could have told that girl, like, listen, I loaned you some money. You never paid me back. And then you walked around showing me new stuff you bought, like nothing ever happened. I'm bothered with you. And then tell the girl, and she can either pay you back or you know how that relationship is and be done with that person. But all of us, so many of us have like equivalent things like that in our life, and we just deal with it. And now we're looking at a world that is the manifestation of people being quiet, being in denial, lying, or they get something out of it. And so they just don't want to give up the broken system because of what they get from it. So many different kind of factors that have all come together to make one beautiful mess. But my message in this mess is I can't participate. Like I can participate in situations where people want to grow, they want to be mature, they want to face the hard things and then navigate those things and to move into a better way of being for themselves. That I can participate with. If somebody has learned their lesson and they want to move forward, but they're not trying to be dishonest or justify things that they know are crap, then I can work with you. But if you are coming with some stuff that you know is full of crap, don't try to get me to co-sign it because I will, then your check is going to bounce. Your lying check is going to bounce in the bank of Pedro's Energy. I'm just going to be like, no. So that's where I am. And that's for me. That's for other people. That's where how I've moved through society writ large at this point. Um, that might not be something that serves everyone, but it's something that I have to communicate. And again, because of this face recognition or whatever you call it, face reading chat GPT thing that is so accurate, I know for sure that it's on my face anyway. So I might as well, congruence is very big to me. So I might as well let people know what's on my face is what's for real. There's no hiding it from me. There's no hiding it from you. We can have a relationship that is based on truth as we're experiencing it in the moment, or we can have no relationship, which this thing says I'm that way. I am that way. Some people have learned that the hard way. Some people may never learn that, but that's where I am. So if you have room for a person like that in your life, I'm here. And if you don't have room for a person like that in your life, you know what to do. Um, I want to encourage as many people as I can. If it's up to me, I'll try to encourage at least 10,000 people with whatever time that I've been afforded in this life to at least get 10,000 people to be okay with being themselves, to be able to face their own experience, to learn from their own experience, to be authentic, to not play games, to not let filial piety, like your like adoration for your family system, that so you can deny reality because you don't want to embarrass your family system. A lot of us have problems and we won't face those problems. We like are in denial, we lie, and then like even if it's for survival, it's understandable, but it doesn't serve us anymore. It's so many of us that just need to be open about things. That's why I don't lie about how my parents were. I'm not trying to make them sound like bad people, but they were not equipped to raise me. I had to basically raise myself and deal with emotionally immature adults like a lot of people I know. But unlike a lot of people I know, I'm just like, yo, my parents were not qualified to raise me, bro. I had to do it by myself. That's not to crap on them. It's just how it was. And a lot of us in that situation. So if we are honest about that, and then we try not to repeat those patterns in our own lives, we actually do the world a favor and we redeem our parents by learning and forgiving them and moving forward. But if we keep doing these things like holding these institutions to standards, like we let institutions hold us to standards, but we don't hold the institution to the standard. That's why I openly am grieving my relationship with Christianity, because Christianity, as it is put out there in America, is full of liars. It's like full of like liars, manipulators, people who justify all sorts of things, people who shame and blame and take zero responsibility. You know what I mean? And they make excuses for everything. It's like it's just the way. I mean, we got what's this fool's name? Kid Rock, on the Trinity Broadcasting Network, that is so hypocritical. And if you can't name that and you can't see that, like something is wrong with you. I'm not, and I don't mean it in a mean way. It's like there's something in here that's not functioning. And so we have to be able to name these things and just move forward with it. It's going to hurt. Some of us might lose jobs or might not be able to get jobs. I mean, it's a lot of mess. But then once we get past this and we can start doing some cleanup, we can actually rebuild in a better way. But if we just ignore it and we keep painting over rust like we've been doing forever, the rust is just going to eat through and the whole structure is going to fall apart anyway. So let's just face it, get clear, realize that whatever we think we're hiding, probably we aren't doing that well. So let's just be real and then see what comes out of it. See what we can create out of being real. So that's what I'm doing. And I hope that every person in my life who can't handle that, I hope that they depart from my life and new people who can deal with that. I hope they come into my life. Cause sometimes you got to let people go. It's not because you hate them or whatever. But sometimes we have to do like a house cleaning of people and like like all the years and all the things, all these little justifications that we keep making for bad behavior and all this other stuff. It's got to, some of us have to say no. Like if you can't get yourself to do it, I understand, but some of us have to. I'm one of those people that has to, and I'm trying to draw in other people who have to and who will so that we can see what life can be when we face reality. So I'm facing my reality. If you want to face reality, we can face each other and we can create something real. Peace to whoever sees this later. Thanks for being here, sharing. Love to all beings. And even if I can't be around you, it's just for the best of both of us. And maybe one day we can be around each other again if we're willing to face reality. If we're not willing to face reality, then we don't have anything anyway. And as Jesus said, I never knew you.